Premier Doug Ford, Minister Sarkaria, our MPP, Minister Jones, Deputy Premier, and all the ministers, our Chair, Ainika, for being here today. The Highway 413 corridor will be a big help for our villages by supporting the extension of Highway 410 and easing traffic congestions on Highway 10, Caledon Village, and it's a welcome addition to the folks in Valleywood. It will also spur the extension of Highway 427 and reduce the number of heavy trucks traveling on Highway 50. This transportation project will provide much-needed capacity and better connections throughout Caledon. It will support the growth we're planning while helping to keep the unique character and vibrant spirit of our community. This announcement marks a key step for the town towards achieving its goal and vision, and town staff will make every effort to support and work in partnership with the province to ensure the successful delivery of Highway 413 and mitigate any impacts to our community. So thank you very much, everyone, for being here, and thank you, Premier Ford.
That's great. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Annette. It is indeed wonderful to be here in Dufferin-Caledon, to be able to welcome many of my colleagues from across Peel, Halton region, and of course, Premier Ford. You know, while not everyone agrees, there is no doubt that traffic and gridlock continues to plague our commuters and people who try to get to needed jobs and appointments across the GTA. So that is why our government has been taking bold action to build Highway 413 with a plan to tackle gridlock and to keep people moving. This historic project will help meet the needs of growing communities across Halton, Peel, and York region, and of course, right here at home in Dufferin-Caledon, allowing drivers to spend more time with their families and less time in gridlock. Today's announcement brings us one step closer to making this new highway a reality. Our government will continue to invest in critical, job-creating infrastructure that drives Ontario's economy, shortens commute times, and supports growth and opportunity now and for decades to come. It's now my honor to invite Prabmeet Sarkaria to the podium to share a few words on the progress that he has been making. Thank you. Stay well, everyone.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the Deputy Premier Sylvia Jones for the kind introduction. And it's great to be here with Mayor Groves and all of my colleagues right here in Caledon, alongside Premier Ford with some very exciting news for drivers who are tired of being stuck in gridlock. Our government is building the transportation infrastructure we need to fight gridlock and drive economic growth. Highway 413 is a key part of our plan to shorten travel times and connect more Ontarians to housing and jobs as we continue to build for the future. That's why our government is investing almost $30 billion over the next decade to build, repair, and expand highways across the province. Last year, we tabled the Reducing Gridlock, Saving You Time Act, which is accelerating the construction of Highway 413, the Bradford Bypass, and the Garden City Skyway Bridge Twinning Project. Highway 413 will shorten travel times by as much as 30 minutes per trip and contribute over $1 billion to Ontario's GDP during construction. Building Highway 413 will create over 6,000 jobs per year, including heavy equipment operators, steel and concrete workers, drilling, quarrying contractors, environmental specialists, laboratory technologists, utility contractors, and safety inspectors. We're not only reducing gridlock, we're standing up for Ontario's workers as U.S. tariffs target families and businesses across the province. We are protecting Ontario, and today we are marking a milestone. With that said, I'd like to turn it over to Premier Ford. Thank you very much.
Well, good morning, everyone. What a beautiful day here in Caledon. And you know something, I'm just delighted to be here with two hometown gals, actually. Deputy Premier Jones and obviously Mayor Groves. Mayor, you're doing a great job, and thank you for everything you're doing in building Caledon in one of the fastest growing regions anywhere in Ontario. And Minister Sarkaria, thank you for the great work you're doing building Ontario, highways and roads and bridges, and so many more members of our government, Minister Tabolo, Minister McGregor, Minister Tangri, Minister Hamid, and PA Sandhu, Gruwal, and Rasinski. I want to welcome Mayor Groves again, Deputy Mayor Singh as well, and Regional Chair Nando. You always make things happen in Peel, so thank you, Nando, for all the work that you do. What a great, great partner you've been. Folks, this is a serious time for our province. President Trump is taking direct aim at our economy, targeting workers and businesses in every part of Ontario. I know workers and their families are worried. That's why our government is doubling down on our plan to protect Ontario and protect communities and jobs and people here in Ontario. So we can stand up to President Trump's tariffs and anything else that threatens our province for decades to come. Our plan to protect Ontario will make our province more competitive, more resilient, and more self-reliant. It will protect Ontario workers and their communities by cutting red tape, investing in infrastructure, and keeping our economy going no matter what. With tariffs raising the cost of everyday goods, we're putting more money back into people's pockets by taking tolls off Highway 412, Highway 418, and Highway 407 East. We banned new road tolls, cut the gas tax permanently, and that's 10.5 cents a liter, fought the federal carbon tax until it was removed, and are saving transit users an average of $1,600 each year through one fare. We're also increasing our plan to build Ontario to more than $200 billion and getting construction contracts out the door sooner, so we can keep our economy going and keep workers on the job. That plan includes new and expanded highways, transit, hospitals, schools, and homes. Here in Peel Region, we're expanding the Peel Memorial Hospital in Brampton and building a new state-of-the-art hospital in Mississauga. We're also building a new medical school in Brampton to train more doctors and nurses. And right now we have about 30,000 nurses being trained. And we've hired 100,000 and 16,000 docs. So we can protect our healthcare system. We're investing $4 billion in infrastructure that will support new homes, including over $136 million to support more than 93,000 homes right here in Peel Region. And we're investing $70 billion across Ontario for the largest public transit expansion in North America. That includes historic new transit, like the Hazel McCallion line, which will include a new tunnel to downtown Brampton and the downtown loop in Mississauga. We're also expanding GO service across the Greater Golden Horseshoe, including 30-minute weekday service between Bramalea and Union Station. And of course, we're investing $30 billion through our plan to build and upgrade highways and roads so we can get drivers out of traffic. Gridlock is costing drivers and their families far too many wasted hours, and is costing our province, ready for this one, $56 billion every single year. And if we don't act, that number could reach nearly $145 billion a year by 2044. That's why we're building the Bradford Bypass, widening Highway 401, and building the 401 Tunnel Expressway. And that's why our government promised drivers here in Peel and across the Greater Golden Horseshoe that we will build Highway 413. And today, we're getting it done. I'm thrilled to announce that our government has awarded the first two construction contracts for Highway 413. Here in Caledon, crews are starting work upgrading Highway 10 in preparation for a new bridge that will take drivers over the future Highway 413. And folks, we couldn't do this without our great stakeholders here and the hardworking women and men on the front lines building these highways. And down the road in Melton, crews will soon preparing the interchange at Highway 401 and 407 to connect Highway 413. This crucial highway will run from Halton in the west to Highway 400 in the east. It will keep drivers moving and keep our economy going. No matter what President Trump sends our way, construction alone will keep 6,000 workers on the job and will add $1 billion to Ontario's GDP every single year. It will shorten travel times by up to 30 minutes per trip, helping people and goods get where they need to go faster. Highway 413 will protect our workers and will help us stand up to President Trump. It will deliver on our plan to build a stronger, more prosperous Ontario for decades to come. We're going to keep investing in our workers, our infrastructure, and our communities. We're going to cut red tape, tackle gridlock, and attract new jobs and investment to our province. And we're going to build Highway 413, no matter who the next president is. Or whatever the next crisis, we're going to protect our workers, our communities, our jobs and our people, our public services. And thank you. I want to thank everyone for coming, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you.
We will now take questions from the media. Media can line up behind me and ask their questions through the microphone. As a friendly reminder, the format is one question and one follow-up. Please state your name and your outlet before your question.
Good morning, Premier. Rob Ferguson,
Hey,
Toronto
Rob.
Star. Hope
How
you
you
didn't
doing?
swallow a bee there.
I'm sorry?
Hope you didn't swallow a bee there.
No.
Okay, good. Just wanted to check on Highway 413. We still on the release that we just received. I don't see any kind of a date or a budget for this highway. So when's the construction going to start? When's it going to end? And how much is it going to cost?
Well, I'm going to pass it over to Minister Sarkaria. But what I've been told, this is going to start in the next few days, and the other interchange is going to start in the next couple of weeks. So we're moving on it. But over to you, Prab.
Thank you very much, Premier. So, with respect to how we do these contracts is we tender them to market, and they are part of our $30 billion plan to build over the next 10 years, and that's investing in highways like the Bradford Bypass, the 413. The cost of not building is far, far greater, and we know, and we've made a commitment to get shovels in the ground. So over the next couple of years, you will see the contract has been broken up into many different pieces that enables more workers to get to work quicker, faster. It's a way that we have decided to accelerate this project and get shovels into the ground. And I do want to take a chance to thank our team from MTO that is also here, Malvika and her team, who have led this very, I would say, unique approach and progressive procurement approach to ensure that we have as much of this line under construction as quickly as possible. So, look, we're getting shovels in the ground. We're going to move quick, and we're going to build as soon as we can with putting many of the workers here to work quickly.
Can I just sneak one in here? How long is it going to take? 10 years, 5 years?
Well, just with every project that we have, we'll continue to get the procurements out. We'll continue to work with those in the industry to accelerate it, get it done as quickly as possible. But with every one of our projects, this is the first start of our early works, and we have every intention of using every resource possible to get it done as quickly as possible, as fast as possible, and get as many shovels in the ground as we can across the entire 52-kilometer stretch of this highway.
All right, thanks. Just another one for the Premier. Are you, I just want to find out, take the pulse, where you're at with Prime Minister Mark Carney on tariffs. You've been calling to hit hard with retaliatory tariffs. He's taken some off the table. So where are you two at right now on this? Are you having a disagreement?
No, I wouldn't call it disagreement. I just believe when they're tariffing us 50% on our steel, and they're using the whole world's using Canada as a dumping ground for steel, we have to make changes. We're tariffing them 25%. Fair is fair. I tariff them 50% on our aluminum, copper, forestry products, and obviously steel. We have to protect our steel workers, here in Ontario. So we have to fight fire with fire, but we'll see how the Prime Minister makes out.
Morning, Premier. Liam Casey with the Canadian Press.
Hi, Liam.
Further to Rob's questions, what's the plan for the ban on American booze?
I apologize, ban on?
American booze.
Well, it's still going to be banned until they cut the tariffs or we make a deal with them. It's not coming on our shelves.
So if
and our wine is up over 67%. Wine sales for Ontario. So thank you.
So just to clarify, if tariffs are removed or if there's a deal,
if there's a deal, another USMCA deal, which I don't think is going to happen for the next few months, but you never know with President Trump. He could pull the carpet out from underneath us in a heartbeat like he has before, or they get rid of their tariffs, and then we'll bring the booze back into the LCBO. And if they don't, then they aren't getting any booze on our shelves.
Okay. And just to follow up on that, the Liquor Board in Quebec is saying they're going to have to dump some American alcohol because it's going to expire soon.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any plans for that? Have you heard anything about possible expiration? Like, are we going to have to dump some alcohol?
Well, I think we still have a few months. That's a good question. Thank you. We still have a few months before anything expires, and we'll take it from there.
Hi, Premier Ford. Steve Cornwell from the Trillium here.
Hi, Steve.
Just a question. There was some reporting from Global News earlier this month that the Ford government was looking at least studying the idea of opening up the 407 potentially for truck traffic. Is the province still looking at that? Is this something you consider?
No, we talked to the Trucking Association, and the problem with that, you put trucks on there, and when they all get off at the same exit, there's going to be a lineup backed up from here to Timbuktu. So, no, we don't plan on putting trucks on the 407. But since we've taken the tolls off, I know on the weekends it gets pretty busy where it's not tolled. So maybe we have to think about the future, maybe expanding that, or I know we're going to expand Highway 7 that runs parallel a little further north.
Maybe on the theme of contracts and tariffs, or at least the Canada's relationship with the U.S., there was some concerns raised a few months back around a contract for the Mississauga Hospital going largely to a U.S.-based facade company to build the glass and the outcasing. That industry in Ontario and Canada is looking at the Ottawa Hospital project. That's, I understand, is the contract for that facade is going to be rewarded sometime in the coming weeks. Do you have an inkling on that? Do you anticipate that will go to a Canadian company?
So basically, Celestin and PCL, the two largest contractors in the country, have been very, very clear to make sure that we use Canadian or preferably Ontario products when they build. And on top of that, have been so clear to Infrastructure Ontario. Make sure we use Ontario. There might be a nut or a bolt that we can't use from Ontario, but it's critical that we do. I did speak to the union on the glazing. I spoke to some of the glazing companies before this kind of war started. That's what the contractors went out and did. I just don't want it happening ever again. I want to make sure that we use Ontario glazers. And do you know what the problem is too? We don't have a glass manufacturer here. So that's a big issue. So I'd love to have a glass manufacturer come to Ontario and produce good Ontario glass. That damn bee is coming after me again.
You've got another bee over here. Beatrice Faisman from CP24 Premier. Let's get back to tariffs. I want to ask you, Pierre Poilievre said the Prime Minister's elbows have all but disappeared when it comes to negotiating with the Americans. Are you buying what the Prime Minister is saying, that now is not the time to have the elbows up to focus on negotiation now? Would you like to see him come back and consider matching the tariffs the Americans are placing on our goods?
Well, I'm not going to get involved between those two. What I'll tell you, I'm going to make sure the best interests of Ontarians are being focused on when it comes to the trade deal. If we were a standalone country, which I never recommend, we'd be the third largest trading partner in the world to the United States. We do $500 billion of two-way trade between the U.S. and Canada. So, we have a loud voice there. I believe being firm, but being fair as well. And right now, President Trump has been anything but fair with us. So I always believe in negotiating, and getting a deal is better than just sitting around and tariffing each other. But I wouldn't get a bad deal. I'd rather wait it out.
I've got a question for you from our colleagues out in Ottawa. The City of Ottawa is set to require all employees to return to the office 5 days a week starting in January. You've talked publicly about wanting that to happen. Did you specifically ask Ottawa's mayor to make that change?
No, that was his choice, and I spoke to him the other night. I'm very proud of him, and the mayor's doing a great job there, and I'm glad. Now the federal government, you need to follow suit, and all other regions across Ontario. It's time to bring people back to work, that they can be mentored, they can collaborate. It's a lot easier looking at someone in the eye than sitting over a telephone or a computer screen.
Paul Smith with CBC. What's your plan for school board trustees? Do you want to eliminate them in Ontario?
Well, there's some good and there's some bad ones. The bad ones like to go go to the baseball game and rent a box for, what is it, $34,000, and in the hotel suites looking over the baseball game that other people can't afford, and then they say they don't have money. School board trustees decided it'd be a great idea to fly to Italy, spend $120 some odd thousand on their junket and their trip, have a great time in Italy, and say it's for Italian artwork, and bring back $100,000 of Italian artwork. Last time I went to schools, it's the kids' paintings and everything else that are on the wall, not $100,000 of Italian artwork. So we're going to hold them accountable. We're going to make sure they balance their books, and I know Minister Caledon is doing a phenomenal job. You know, folks, I call my telephone a poll, and people call me every single day. People are done with these school trustees wasting money, and they're done with a lot of these school boards. But I know Minister Caledon will work with them and try to make sure their budgets are balanced.
And why is the government hesitant to give builders loans and grants to incentivize home construction?
Well, I know the mayors, I'm sure our mayor here, which is a fabulous mayor, they want to get money on permits. You can't do that. We got to get shovels in the ground, and we'll sit down and listen to the mayors, but people pull a permit and it'll take a year or two to start building. We can't do that. We're pouring billions and billions of dollars into infrastructure, and we're helping them that way. So we'll sit down and listen, but not based on permits. Permits don't result in homes immediately. They'll eventually result in homes, but not immediate.
This will be the last reporter.
Morning, Premier Ford. This is Riley Murphy with the Caledon Citizen. Hi. Global News reported 2 weeks ago that a developer proposed alignment for the 413 was considered to prevent cutting through a prominent Caledon developer's planned housing development. Was this ever at all considered?
Yeah, so it was common sense, and the mayor and I are bang on with this. And, you're taking away, over 3,000 homes and, good jobs and so on and so forth, if they just moved it up 600 meters. But they're saying it would take 2 years, and they're giving me every excuse under the world why it can't be done. But anyways, if it can't be done, it can't be done. But it's just such common sense. So, and it passed through Caledon's council and approved by the mayor. Mayor, do you want to speak on it, or are you good? You want to say it?
Thank you, Premier. Thank you, Riley, for the question. And it isn't unusual to have requests. Requests are made all the time. When we were looking at the expansion and the extension of Highway 427, we had requests from property owners regarding the route. The town of Caledon actually put this request in with the previous council. But again, as the Premier said, looking at something, if it's going to delay projects, and it can't be done, it just can't be done. Thank you.
That's great. Okay, so here's my little crime rant of the day. I don't know if you've ever did you see these characters on the news last night that went into the LCBO up in Kitchener? They're brazen bunch of crooks. You know, I have all the confidence in the world in the police services, Waterloo Police Services. The chief, he's a champion, the chief. We got to catch these guys and throw them in jail. They just do not care. They go in there, they start loading up, and loading up. And you know what's ironic? It's the taxpayers' money, the LCBO. And so they're stealing off the taxpayers. But I have confidence they're going to be caught, and the judges have to keep these guys in bail. Or the other one, did you see the gangsters going into the mall there and smashing people's jewelry right in broad daylight and just hammering away at it? It's out of control. And I love the one, I think it was a year ago, when the guy in the LCBO, just a customer, he stood up and held him accountable. I'd love to meet that guy one day. You gave him a couple slugs in the head. They deserve a slug in the head every once in a while. But anyways, we got to get tough on this crime. People are fed up. And I'm wishing all the best for our friend in Lindsay. I don't know who it was, but people are at their peak with this violence. I mean, with the violence, but the criminality, and they're just at their wits' end that the judges keep letting people out on bail. So we're going to hold these guys accountable, and I will be all over the Prime Minister about bail reform. So thank you.
That concludes our press conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you.